Greetings, Guzzlers. Didn't realise it was almost drunk on it. It's another daytime special. Well, daytime when I'm making it. I'm making another cake. And as it happens, it's not entirely down to CupCake Jemma this time. I've actually used one of her recipes for a mint chocolate chip layer cake, but I'm going to adapt the final bits by another YouTube channel I follow, CupCake Savvy. So it's a bit of a combination between two. The actual cake itself comes from CupCake Jemma. So we're going to make cake. We're going to make 4 layers. There's going to be buttercream inside, on the outside, and a bit of decoration. Right? So mint chocolate chip layer cake. So there's a lot of ingredients in this. Here I've got 550 grams of caster sugar. Now Jemma would say just shove that straight into the into the bowl, but this is a bit lumpy, so I'm just going to put it through the sieve just so that I can break up the lumps. Now obviously because chocolate cake we want cocoa powder, and what I've done is I've decided to darken it up a bit. So I've got 85 grams of normal dark cocoa powder, so the brown looking stuff, and I've then got 5 grams of that black cocoa powder, just to make it a little bit darker. You're going to want some flour, which again we will sift through into this. Plain flour, 525 grams, like that there, ready to go. We want 1.5 teaspoons of bicarb and 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And that will be the dry ingredients, apart from I've got 200 grams of dark chocolate chips, which will go in to the mix. So I'm just going to sift through those dry ingredients. I'm obviously not going to sift through the chocolate, but I'll get that all sifted into the bowl, and then we can get on with the final, well not final, but the mixing of that and mixing the liquid bit. That's all them dry ingredients in, and I've just gone through with a whisk just to mix it together. Now we're obviously going to be adding the liquid part to this, okay, so it's going to get more mixing. So for that we want another bowl. Now you're going to need, by the way, put that flour mix in the largest bowl you got. I'm going to struggle to get everything in there as it is, looking at the amount of flour that's in there. Because we're going to do the liquid ingredients in here and then we're going to transfer it to that. So you do need a big bowl for that bit. Don't get around the other way. So into this bowl, you're going to want some cold brewed coffee, and I've got 350 mils of that. So in that goes. What else do you want? You want buttermilk, 350 mils of buttermilk. You know that, staring me in the face. Okay, in that goes. Here's what I mean about there's going to be a lot to go in there. I've got some oil, vegetable oil, 320 mils of that. In that goes. Now, we want it minty. So what I've got here is some peppermint extract, which the lid don't want to come off of, and I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of that. In that goes. Now we're going to be wanting to have some of that later for the buttercream, so I'll just put that in there. And then we're going to add to that 5 large eggs, and then we're just going to whisk that all together. And now, like I said, what we're going to do is we're now going to add this into this flour mix, and this is why I said you need a big bowl. A bit of extra in there. We're now going to make sure this is thoroughly mixed together. Now the cake's all cooked. Now I think I said originally we're going to do 4 layers. My tin's slightly bigger, and so I ended up thinking, well, they're going to be a bit thin. So I've done 3. Okay, now we're going to make the buttercream. So in here, I've got some softened unsalted butter. I've got 500 grams, and using the beater, we're just going to cream this all together for about 5 minutes. So that's the butter creamed. Okay, and now we're going to put a lot of icing sugar in there. And we've got 500 grams of butter. In here, I've already sifted 1,125 grams of icing sugar. And I add that in sort of batches, blend it in until that's all then mixed in thoroughly. And then we're going to be adding some peppermint extract, because remember it's a minty thing, plus we're going to colour it green for mint green. Actual mix in there, I'm going to add half a teaspoon of the peppermint extract, and then I'm going to get that blended in. But before I do that, I've got in there 7 tablespoons of milk, and I'm just going to add to that a good pea-sized lump of green food colouring, which I'm just going to get mixed in. And then after I've mixed that peppermint for a little bit, we're going to gradually blend in that milk just to loosen the buttercream up a bit. That's been nice green peppermint buttercream. And so, as is typical, what we're going to do is just going to take a small amount of that and spread that onto the cake board. I'm just going to transfer over one of the layers, and then we'll get it onto the turntable so we can start building up the layers. So there you can see, built up a, by the way, notice I've got a turntable. My other turntable, which I still can't find, it was all bobbly and everything. It's a nice flat one. But I've gone through, and I'm just going to smooth that a bit. Now, it doesn't matter about being too smooth. This is just a crumb coat, try and seal all them bits in. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to refrigerate this for about an hour. Okay, the rest of the buttercream will obviously be coating it, but I hope I've got enough to do a little bit of decoration. Okay, so going to get that chilled. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to take that buttercream, and now the idea being we're now going to spread all around the sides. Okay, now to begin with, we just want to get a layer on there. Whoops. So don't worry too much about the finish at this stage. We want a thick enough layer to completely cover that crumb layer. So that's got just about every bit covered. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, using a scraper, just go around the sides, try and get a nice even finish. I stopped in the end because just so I get one bit, I thought, oh, to tidy that bit up, I then end up creating another problem. So I'm happy with sides. The odd bit dent, it doesn't matter, but you'll see why in a minute. The top isn't perfect, but that definitely won't matter, because this is where I'm going to deviate. Actually, I've already deviated from Jemma, because she actually put chunks of chocolate in the buttercream layers between, the cakes, and then she decorates it differently. Now this is where I've deviated and gone over to CupCake savvy. What I've got here is about a cup of melted chocolate, dark chocolate. And what I'm going to do, I've let that cool slightly, and now I'm going to put into that 1 tablespoon of plain vegetable oil, and we're just going to mix that all in so we've got a nice pourable chocolate sauce. Now this is a first for me. What we're going to attempt to do is make a chocolate drip cake. So we're going to coat the top, which reminds me I need to get my spatula washed. We're going to cover the top in this chocolate, and we're going to let it drizzle down the sides. Now the remaining buttercream, and unusually for Jemma, I normally find with Jemma's recipes I never have quite enough buttercream, so to instantly cover all that cake. And I wanted some spare because we're going to decorate the top of it after we put the chocolate on. So I put the spare, which I had this time, in there, and I've also got some after eight sort of mints. We'll see what we'll do with them in a bit. I've got this in a jug because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pouring this, and we want it to go around the edge. Okay. And we obviously want the odd bit to drizzle down, and then using my spatula I'm just going to run it over the top and add in a little bit more chocolate as necessary. Whoops. Just to get it all over the top. Now I've got some chocolate spare, but I think we'll leave that there. There you go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shove this in the fridge for a little bit, just to chill a little bit, and get ready to pipe it. So I've got quite a large sort of rosette nozzle, and I've got, like I say, my mince. So what I'm going to do, I've done a little example there. I'm just going to go around and I'm going to pipe some of this buttercream on top. Now I'm taking one of the mints and I'm sticking it into the top between each rosette, down into the cake. Your mint choc chip layer cake with a minty buttercream filling and coating, a chocolate drip cover if you like, complete with more buttercream and some nice mint chocolates. So there you go. Thanks CupCake Jemma, and thanks CupCake Stabby. Too good to cut now, isn't it?